Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we're super happy to have you here. And if you've been listening and enjoying for a while, I would be super grateful if you would please take a moment to give us a review on Apple Podcasts. It's one of the best and simplest ways to pay it forward and help others find the show so that they too can tap into the powerful perspectives and positive vibrations we are collectively emanating. The other unique and magical way to share this show is by sending any friends you think would benefit from listening to this podcast our Game with the Universe link at positivehead.com/game. Also listed in the show notes, which will serve them up a quote-unquote random episode when they click it. Just instruct them before clicking the link to close their eyes for a moment and sincerely ask the universe to queue up the episode that contains the insight and perspectives that they most need to hear at this point in their life journey, and then click to listen to whatever episode is synchronistically served up to them. I have heard time and time again from people about the incredible results they received playing the game. So just tell your friends magical results are guaranteed or their karma back.
All right, all you positive heads, welcome one and all. I am so grateful that you have joined me on this magical today, where today I thought I would get more into truth and our seeking of truth and what truth really is. Because our truth is individual, isn't it? It's what is true to us. And each individual has our own truths. And how do we find our truths? We seek for them. And this seeking process takes a lifetime. And even through that lifetime, we're not done. We don't learn all the things there is to learn in this universe in this one single lifetime. And as a matter of fact, we don't learn all the things there is to learn in this universe in all of our lifetimes here in this third dimensional reality on Earth. Imagine all of the different things that we can learn as we continue to move up in the dimensional layers. All of the different concepts that we will now be able to perceive. Because in our human mind, it is difficult to perceive some of these grander concepts. Like imagine infinity. And try for a moment to wrap your brain around that concept, to the infinitum of all that there is. You can see the Earth out in space. You can zoom out and see the Milky Way. You can zoom out even further and see all the different galaxies floating around in this infinite nothingness of space. But can you conceive that that goes on and on and on and on? And can our brain really conceive that? No, it can't. It's not for this dimension. And that's okay. I think it's really fun and magical to think that this journey, this seeking journey, is never ending. And that the more I learn, the more I realize that there is to learn. And that is so magical to me, that this is a never ending journey of experience and learning. And we have to learn in spoonfuls. It's extremely important that we learn in spoonfuls because otherwise we could fray our entire system and get ourselves completely disheveled. Dolores Cannon used to talk about this concept of learning in spoonfuls and how important it is. In her Keepers of the Garden book, there's a quote that says, there is simply the existence of forbidden knowledge, not only on this level, but on many other levels. For there is some information which is so radical to the conventional human point of view or perspective that it would be as poison instead of medicine. And that's what I mean when I say that we would get all frazzled and disheveled. We would not be able to grasp it in our mind, and it would essentially drive us crazy. We would bring ourselves into a psychosis. So our guides know, our angels know, everyone, all the engineers of this reality know what we can handle. And so that is what we are allowed to receive, what we are allowed to see. And that's the information that is given to us. Very often in QHHT sessions, there are times when we are told, I can't give you this information at this time. It would not be beneficial to humanity as a whole for this knowledge to come out at this time. And so when we hear things like that, we say, okay, thank you very much, and we move on, because it is very understood that we do not know everything at this time. And humans, I think we've gotten a little ahead of ourselves in this with our hubris, thinking that we do know everything. And really, we know nothing at all in this grand scheme of this infinitum. Voltaire said that 4,000 volumes of metaphysics will not teach us what the soul is. 4,000 volumes, 4,000 books, 4,000 people sharing their perspective and opinion will still not tell us what the soul is. It is grander than that, and it is bigger than our perception here. And so then, what is the truth? If 4,000 different perspectives don't tell the ultimate truth, then what is it? And so that's why it's so individual. It resides within each and every one of us. Another Keepers of the Garden quote from Dolores Cannon says, "Simply continue to follow that response felt from within, for that is the true taskmaster." That is the knowing. That is the truth that we feel within us, that is always guiding us. And we know this truth within us. And then we argue with it. And this is when we go down the quote unquote wrong path. And there is no such thing as a wrong path or a right path. There's an easier path. There's a simpler path. All paths lead back to the one, but one path can lead to more difficulty and a lot more strife, and one can be harmonious and peaceful, and it's our choice, and that's beautiful. So all paths, at the end of the day, all lead back to the one. I'm reminded of one of my clients recently who went to the tapestry room on the other side, and she was talking about each individual thread. And at the beginning of each thread and at the end of each thread is harmony. All begins and ends in harmony. And of course, there will be disharmonies and different energies throughout the thread, but always begins and ends in harmony. And isn't that a comforting thought? We can't do it wrong. We can't make any mistakes, but we can learn to trust our instincts, to trust the knowing within ourselves. I found a beautiful clip from a YouTube channel that I really enjoy. This YouTube channel is called Navajo Traditional Teachings. And this clip that I wanted to share with you today is called Finding Truth and Error. Take a listen.
Truth is not something that just comes to you out of the blue. You have to search for it. The way that the Neh talk about truth, which is to say that is something that is real. You can sense it with your 5 senses and the 4 invisible senses. It's there. That's the way you acquire it. Sometimes you may not like it, but nonetheless it is that it is true. The other thing about it means it might seem like it is true, but it is not true. That's the ways of error. There is truth and there is error. When you find truth, you have to be willing to sacrifice pride. In learning the traditional stories of our people, the Neh, there's the coyote stories, and then there's the stories of what they call the coming into existence, the emergence. Hajine. When I was very young, I had the opportunity to learn from the very elderly. And the way that they did that, I look back on it, is they would tell me the story, and then I would have to repeat it back to them. And then they would take the opportunity to tell me to share this information with somebody, and they would be listening to my telling other people the story that they had shared with me about a coyote story or about the Hajine, and they would listen to me. Sometimes afterwards they would say, "You forgot to mention this particular part." And so the teachings that I learned as far as the coyote stories and that is a lot of it is based on truth and error. In our language they say, that's truth. That's the what seems like the truth, but it is not truth. And so there's these two, the truth and the untrue. And so it is also the same thing with the stories of the coming to life and the Hajine or the emergence story of such characters as the two boys that went to visit their father. And that one portion of the story is that the boys are asking for direction as to what path they should take as they journey to their father. Somehow they are told there's a place where you're going to come to a fork in the road. Don't take this one, take that one. And the other one is the two paths are the true path, and the other path is not the true path. And so when they arrive at that fork, they get confused and they say, which was it that we were supposed to take? And so they guess that they should take this one, and they get on that road or on that path. And as they journey on that path, they begin to get old. They look at each other and their hair are turning white and they're developing wrinkles and their joints are hurting and aching. And they say, we have gone the wrong path. We have gone on the old age road. Let's turn around and go back. And so they turn around and they go back to the junction, and then they take the correct path. We learn from that age is something that we all will experience eventually. But if we just age without making the attempts to find truth and to seek truth, that we come up empty. It's a lifelong thing to find truth and to search for truth, to pray for truth. So the stories that I was told in many cases is that there is truth and then there is error. In all of the coyote stories is the truth and the errors that coyote does. And then in the stories of the emergence, all of the different events in that, people have to determine truth. And so the idea of us experiencing our search for truth is very important. The way that we are told is that truth is not something that just comes to you out of the blue. You have to search for it. In this case, you'd have to study. And then, of course, you would have to pray about it in many cases. And I remember so many of my relatives, they would say, pray for it. Pray for learning the truth. If you understand and you've been given something, pray about it. Is what they say. There are so many things that can confuse us in life. We can take the wrong road, the wrong path, and there are ways to do things in this world. You can't have truth if you go ahead and you go places where there are no truth. You can't go over there and expect to find truth where there is none. And it is that you can't build your life on things that are not working for you, that are robbing you. These are things that are not true. They will rob you of your joy and your happiness, your confidence and peace. These are things that are not true. And so the idea of acquiring truth, it's a spiritual thing. You have to pray about it. You have to prepare yourself spiritually. I know that when you go into a sweat lodge, you're supposed to prepare yourself spiritually to be sitting among the grandfathers and think about the things that could be true and that you want to know. You have to verify truth some way. And the best way to do it is to prepare yourself to receive that spiritual truth. And when it becomes a spiritual truth that you understand it, and then you can apply it in your life, you're going to always have people that will laugh at you. They will scoff at you, and they will ridicule you. You're searching for truth. Even your own relatives and people that you think are concerned about you. When you really start to look for truth and find truth that you can apply in your life, there are people that will get in your pathway, and they will ridicule you, make fun of you, and laugh at you. And it's just like learning the Navajo language. I know that some of the young people say, I try to talk Navajo, but I can't say the things correctly. People laugh at me, so I'm not going to learn Navajo. And that's not a very good thing to do. And it is that you have to do things when you find truth and do the true things, that you have to be able to be willing to sacrifice pride, and you got to be able to willingly sacrifice a lot of the things that you do that are wrong, and to do it with the idea that or pray for it. Ask for it. These are the things that I was told when I was trying to understand the coyote stories and the emergent stories, and even the ceremonies and that are conducted. There's always these things that are based on the idea of us finding truth. Is that you shall seek truth. There's things that look true, but they are destructive, and they will not help you. And those are the things that we are told.
So, how many of you can resonate with the fact that there are people in your life who may ridicule you or make fun of you or laugh at you for your beliefs? And how does that make you feel? Does it make you cower? Does it make you not do it? Does it make you not talk to them about it? Well, that's okay to not talk to them about it. But like he was saying, it's not okay to not do it. It's not okay to allow them to dim your light. Your responsibility here, your purpose here on this planet is to brighten your light and shine it as bright as you possibly can. And we do this by seeking our truth and always asking for help and praying for this knowledge and this understanding. This knowledge comes from within, and we all have this inner power that we know, we feel this truth within ourselves. And none of us ever feel good when we are living a life that is based on ignoring those truths, essentially. If we feel a certain way inside and we're doing the opposite, what society tells us or what our family members think is best for us, but it's making us miserable inside, then this is how we age quicker. This vibration that brings us down, that keeps us in this ditch, that is what will keep our energy low and increase the aging of our body, because the lower we feel, the quicker we will age. This is a little anti-aging secret. The happier you are, the slower you will age and the younger you will look ultimately. How many of you know a very, very happy 70 or 80-year-old person that doesn't look that old at all? You're very surprised to hear that that is their age. And that is most likely because they live in such abundant happiness. They live in gratitude and live in love. And in this way, people can age and we can get old, but we don't need to feel pain or suffer in our bodies. We can just gradually grow old, and decide when it's our time to go. This is the way we used to do it in ancient times. We would know it was our time. We had done all that we had to do. We would say our goodbyes, and we would peacefully close our eyes and go to sleep. This is the ways we are coming back to in this world. The more we understand the truth within ourselves and follow that, live that, really listening to this inner voice within us that is always telling us the right path to go. I think that's it for me today, everyone. I love you all so incredibly much. I'm going to leave you with this song from Geometry called Morning Star Wisdom. Until next time, I love you all.
Inspire us as a humanity to drop deep, use the rhythms of the drum, the rhythms of our hearts, the rhythms of our feet stomping on the earth to elevate our prayers up to the cosmos, to bring down that starlight that is informing our bodies about how to make this walk on planet Earth, how to walk through those rites of passage, of rebirthing. And all of that resource, intelligence, can come truly incarnate the uniqueness that each of us host, that each of us are responsible to channel and create and actualize here on this planet. As we dance, pour this wisdom, this joy, this bliss down into these bodies and help us to receive the insights that the dance can show us. To create the world of abundance and health and love that we all choose to be in.